Hey guys, it's your girl Dion from Concrete Loop. I just recently chatted with Terrence J, where he talks about his charity work, chasing your dreams, and of course, his new book. Check it out. You've been getting into a lot of projects lately. Could you tell us a little bit more about your charity work that you're doing?
Absolutely. One of the programs right now that I want to let everyone know about is the Disney Dreamers Academy. We bring Steve Harvey and a bunch of mentors. We bring 100 high school students down to Disney World for a weekend. And the weekend is full of mentoring programs. It's full of empowerment sessions. It's full of deep dive sessions where they can really learn about their own career. And it's a lot of fun. We jump on the rides and we have a great time. So the deadline for that is October 31st. And we want to let everybody know that they can apply right now and come have a good time with us down at Disney World.
That definitely sounds like a good time. And
Yeah,
that's not the only thing that you're doing in October.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I have a book coming out. I'm super excited. It's kind of crazy to even say it. But October 1st, excuse me, my book drops. It's called The Wealth of My Mother's Wisdom. And it's from the heart, and I can't wait for people to read it.
Yeah, so this is something new for you, actually, because you recently added being an author to your resume. What made you decide to write a book?
I did an interview my last day of 106 in Park, and Lala was hosting the show that day. And I remember my mom was like a surprise guest, and my mom was talking on air about how she had me when she was 17 years old and never imagined in her wildest dreams that I would later, be on television and be in films. And so La looked at it, she was like, "You should write a book." And I remember it kind of struck a nerve, and I've always been a writer. I always, write out my thoughts, and I had looked through some of my notes and some of the research that I had done for Think Like a Man, where I actually played a mama's boy, and I wrote down a lot of notes and a lot of character study because I had done a lot of research on my mom. And I started looking at the parallel of how her life and how her decisions, especially when she was so young, affected me in my career. So you got this young girl who is 17 years old when she got pregnant with me. So now she's 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, and she's raising a man. And she had little to no help. I never met my biological father. And, she had this incredible amount of wisdom that really inspired and motivated me and was the nudge for all of the things that I was able to do, 20 years later. And so I wrote this book and I crafted it in a way that young people can be motivated and mothers can know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I put it all together and I'm sharing it with the world. And it has a lot of personal things from my life, relationships that have gone bad. I've had financial problems that I've worked out. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs in my career, and I wanted to share it all with people so that if they're going through something difficult, they can be inspired and know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
So basically, her strength actually transformed to you, and it helped mold you into the man you are today.
Absolutely. I think that in everybody's life, there's somebody that really pushes them. And for me, it was my mom, whether it was directly or indirectly. And, I feel it's our obligation. I feel once you're on TV and once you're on movies, it's your obligation to give back. I wouldn't have been here and wouldn't be in this seat if it wasn't for people that, opened the door for me. And so I wanted to write a book so that if you're young and you have those aspirations, you can look at me. I'm a kid from North Carolina that had nothing. My first job was at a Foot Locker, and I just kept working my way up. And so I just wanted to let people know that I'm living my dreams every single day. And if you have dreams, you can live them as well.
Yeah. Could you give us a sneak peek? Could you share with us one of the greatest lessons she's taught you so far?
It makes me think back at when I started on BET. I was working at a marketing job that I didn't, necessarily, it wasn't necessarily my passion. And my mom would always tell me, surround yourself with positive people and never give up. And I remember when I auditioned in New York for the gig, the first time I got told no. I got a big red X on my audition sheet. And I remember it was one of my boys who was like, look, let's go to the audition the next day. And so I did. And the next audition was the one that got me the job. So it was surrounding myself with the right people because they didn't let me quit. And it was also never giving up. And it was, continuously going after it. And so those are generic things that I think mothers tell us all the time. Surround yourself with the right people, never give up. But
Yeah.
those are the tools that have led to me being here today. So I share this story in a lot more detail, and I can't wait for people to read it.
You're in Think Like a Man. That was success. So
Thank you.
part two will be out next year.
Yeah,
And as you mentioned, you played this mama's boy. I've watched the movie. It was really good.
thank you.
Does your character mirror your own life?
No, and that's the funny thing. I'm far from a mother's boy in real life. To prepare for the film, I had to do a lot of research on my mom. I realized, I think we shot the first one. I was like 28 years old, and I realized I didn't know my mom. I knew her being a mom to me, but I didn't really know much about her when she was young. I didn't know anything about my mom when she was in high school or what her dreams were or even anything really about my biological father. I never really asked anything about my biological dad. I didn't know anything about him. And so when the first film came about, I started asking her a lot of questions, and that's kind of what created the notepad and the blueprint for what ended up being the book, because I started to realize a lot of the characteristics that I have came from her, and I didn't even know it. So no, I'm not a mother's boy in real life, but I think that this project has brought me closer to her.
All right. So you're Terrence J, the DJ, because this is what you were doing in high school.
Yeah.
Terrence J, the host. Now you're Terrence J, the author and the actor. I mean, anyone following your career would see that you're doing big things pretty much. So you went from 106 to being Ryan Seacrest's successor. How
Oh.
has that journey been so far?
It always bugs me out when anybody says anything like, Ryan Seacrest. I mean, you can't, that guy is just out of control, man. You can't compare yourself to him. He is just.
I mean, give yourself some credit.
Thank you. It's been an amazing run. I mean, this weekend alone, on September 27th, Baggage Claim comes out, a film that I'm in, and then on October 1st, I have a book. And I'm here, representing, being an ambassador for the Disney Dreamers Academy. And so for me, my first job was at a Foot Locker in Golden East Crossing Mall in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And I had dreams of doing this stuff. And, people ask me why I'm smiling on TV. Why are you so goofy on TV all the time? And I'm like, I'm a kid in the candy shop, man. I'm just happy every day I'm able to be here. And I'm just really excited about what the future holds.
Speaking of kid in the candy shop, I have to ask, do you miss the livest audience? Are you watching 106 in Park?
You know what? I'm on TV at the same time. So my E-News is on at 7 o'clock now, so I don't get to watch, but it's only because I'm on TV at the same time. But I have caught the show, and I think Bow Wow is I think he's a brilliant talent, man. I think he's doing an amazing job. I think he's better than I was, that early on. I think he's only been up there a year, so I definitely think, he just, the sky is the limit. And I'm just, proud of the show and proud of him.
Okay, before we wrap things up, are there any book signings set up over here on the East Coast that we can look forward to?
Yeah, check my Twitter feed at Terrence J. I'll be in New York next week. I'll be in North Carolina, where I'm from. I'll be in D.C. and Baltimore and Chicago. We have a huge book tour on the way, so I can't wait to sign autographs and meet everyone. And make sure to pick up the book. You can buy it pre-order right now, and you can get it on October 1st. And make sure to apply for the Disney Dreamers Academy. The deadline is October 31st, and the website is DisneyDreamersAcademy.com.
All right. right. Thank you, Terrence J. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.